Welcome back to the channel, guys. You're tuned into yet another episode here on Rob on 85 South. In this particular episode, we got to discuss the Lakers being trash. The number one reason is this. Look at these people on the screen. Yes, Magic Johnson, you are included. Now, if you guys remember, LeBron James was a free agent his last year in Cleveland, 2018-2019. He decided to join the Los Angeles Lakers. And from that time up until this season, they only have one championship. Now, we know LeBron James and Anthony Davis, at the peak of their careers, were top five players. Together, they were top five players. Now, all of a sudden, we're going to talk about a lot. I'm not going to make this video too long, getting straight to the point. Look at last year and this year. Last year, 43-39. Not good. They finished 7th in the Western Conference. You guys know they went on to the Western Conference Finals, but they had to battle it out through the play-in tournament. Now, number one to blame is Luke Walton, Magic Johnson, Rob Pelinka, Frank Vogel, and Darvin Ham. Why? Because they are all a collective reason to why the Lakers are this trash when they should be 3 championships in by now. Yes, 3 championships. LeBron James is one of the greatest players of all time, if not debatably top 2 of all time. 1 or 2, depending on who you ask. He's number 1. Depending on who you ask, he's number 2. Luke Walton should have never been the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Let's start there. Number 2, Frank Vogel should have never been the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers after being fired by the Orlando Magic. And we're going to talk about these guys' resumes. We're going to get further into this. You guys see the numbers on the screen there in front of you for the season, offensively and defensively, for the Los Angeles Lakers. Look at this. We're going to talk about offensive rating last year, 20th. Offensive rating this year, 24th. Defense, you never have questions. Why? Because you got LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Night in and night out, those guys are going to give you what they need to give you. At one point in time, the Lakers had the number 1 defense in the NBA. Anthony Davis was robbed of Defensive Player of the Year that year, and LeBron James was robbed of, MVP that year as well. The year they had the number 1 defense heading into the playoffs. Now, 11th. This year, they're 9th. So we never have questions about can the Lakers do it on defense, because when you got Anthony Davis and LeBron James, you just need some defenders around those guys that are competent. It's the offense that's lacking. Why? Because every head coach that they had is always delusional, incompetent when it comes to lineups, when it comes to in-game adjustments. What did we have a problem with as fans of the NBA and Laker Nation when Frank Vogel was there? Adjustments, in-game adjustments, his inability to, be sane and be sound in what he's trying to get out of, a lineup. He was terrible. Then you go to Darvin Ham, who was even worse than Frank Vogel was at adjusting. Luke Walton, we don't even have to discuss why he was terrible. Let's be real. The reason why he was a head coach is the fact that it's the fact that Steph, Clay, Draymond, and KD took him on a 39-4 record when not Frank Vogel, but Steve Kerr was out with a back injury. Now look at all these guys' resume. This is going to tell you everything you need to know about Rob Pelinka and his inability to look at head coaching talent and say, you know what? You fit LeBron James and Anthony Davis and the pieces that we're going to. Outside of that 2020 shortened season due to COVID, these guys shouldn't have any championship right now. None of these guys should have jobs in the NBA, if we're going to be real. Assistant coach for like 10 years before he got his first shot at a head coaching job. Is Rob Pelinka not looking, outside of Rob Pelinka making some decent trades and acquisitions, he's not doing anything. He doesn't have the knowledge to draft correctly. If I'm not mistaken, Lonzo Ball was drafted instead of Jason Tatum, right? Where's Lonzo Ball? Where's Jason Tatum? Now I know that was Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka's decision, but mostly Magic Johnson. But Magic Johnson made that decision, because he's a point guard. But hindsight 2020, terrible. The fact that they allowed Luke Walton to coach one, two, three, one season with LeBron. He should have been fired the year LeBron James was signed. Now they allow him to coach for what? 37 and 45. We know that was the year LeBron James got injured before Anthony Davis got there. But look at Luke Walton's resume. He wasn't even anything before. Luke Walton was kind of smart. He said, you know what? I'm going to parlay this into some money for me because he's not really a head coach. And we know a lot of players, they do it for the money. Some coaches do it for the money as well. Luke Walton is one of those coaches. Wasn't even a decent player in the NBA. In his time in the NBA. Now he's been demoted back to assistant coach. Cleveland, it's a reason why Cleveland isn't doing this good. It's probably because he's there. Now you go to Frank Vogel's resume. Outside of those 2 years where they went to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Miami Big Three, he really has nothing to show for it. Even with LeBron in the Eastern Conference, we know while LeBron there, it was the LeBron Frince. Let's be real. So Frank Vogel's resume, terrible. Outside of those 2 seasons where they went to the Eastern Conference back to back, but come on, you had Roy Hibbert, you had Lance Stephenson, George Hill, Danny Granger, Paul George, David West. He had a squad. So I don't think it was much more of him versus, him having that squad there. Then you go to the season. He only lasted 1 year in Orlando. 2 years in Orlando, actually. Then they fired him. Then after he was fired from there, Rob Pelinka was like, oh, you know what? He could be the fit for Anthony Davis and LeBron. Come on, bro. Look at Rob Pelinka's resume. 52 and 19, 42 and 30, 33 and 49, 43 and 39. Terrible. Darvin Ham, need I say more? Keeping it moving, man. To the third reason why these guys are terrible. LeBron James, I'm going to blame you for allowing all of this stuff to happen. Like, you got to put your foot down on a coach that you know is right. Bro, there's no reason why LeBron James head coaches outside of, if I'm not mistaken, Mike Brown and Eric Spoelstra, he's never had a head coach to win out without him on the roster. He's never had a head coach to win more than 60 games. And I would say 55 games because, I think, what's his name? Frank Vogel. And listen, Frank Vogel with the Phoenix Suns, KD, Devin Booker. This man is terrible. He has that team looking like a lottery team. LeBron James is to blame as well. But he's the third reason. He's not going to take most of the blame. But I have to give him some blame. Look at the resume for the Los Angeles Lakers this year. Egregious. Now, bright spot for LeBron and Anthony Davis, they have player options for this upcoming offseason. So they can bounce and go to the Golden State Warriors. I think that's Northern California, isn't it? Now, one thing we need to discuss before this video ends is the fact that the Lakers could trade for either Kyrie Irving, Bradley Beal, or Zach LaVine. Now, who you add in though, you're going to have to give up a lot. You're going to have to give up a lot if you want either one of those players. But a team that I got it ranked from 1 through 3. Number 1 on the list is Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving, as you guys know, was supposed to sign and trade to the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm not sure what happened with Dallas, but now I feel like this is their best opportunity to go after Kyrie Irving. Now, defensively, you're probably going to lose a lot because you're probably going to have to throw in Jared Vanderbilt. You could probably try to finesse it and keep either Rui or Austin, but you still got Gabe Vincent, you got LeBron. Now, this is what a lot of people need to take notice of coming to the end on this particular video. Mark Cuban is selling the Dallas Mavericks. So you have a huge opportunity to bring in Kyrie Irving and kind of help you guys right the ship and try to offset the lack of intelligence on Darvin Ham's part when it comes to doing the same thing that we saw Frank Vogel do. Not know how to make in-game adjustments and correct the lineups. So Mark Cuban is looking to sell the Dallas Mavericks. Kyrie Irving should be number 1 on the Los Angeles Lakers. Who's to blame? We already talked about it. I'll see you guys in the next one.